Well, we've got Valentina. Why have we got Valentina? Valentina's from London at 360. It's a group of young people that I've been working with, an organisation sponsored by the Media Trust. They do a programme on the community channel giving us these stories that we may not otherwise have heard of. We talked to Valentina ahead of our conversation, of course, with Rosa and with the one and only Mr. Rodney Hines from the Voice newspaper. Valentina, good evening to you. Morning as it is.
Yeah, hello.
Last time you came to see me, you were sick.
I was.
How
and
are you?
Better.
Are you better?
Yeah. Just very tired.
You haven't got this awful... very tired. It's because 1 o'clock in the morning. You have to be upbeat. Any opportunity to be on the radio, we should take it.
Of
Absolutely.
Course, yes.
Please, back straight and chest out. We will do what we have to do. So this awful... do you know anybody who's got this awful bug thing that's going on?
Yeah, my goddaughter has it and my best friend, so I'm staying well away.
Yeah, just horrible. So
Horrible.
I became really, really conscious because they said, you've just... And I'm, obviously I'm
Sure.
clean anyway, but you got to be really conscious now. Always wash your hands, be careful of going to the gym where people's hands are. And I seen this guy and he really shouldn't have been out in public.
Yeah.
Just like, and in his hands, and then he's putting his hands on the pole and he's in the tree. I'm like, wow, that's how we share these germs that everybody has. So I'm glad that you're healthy. Because if you were not, you may not have been allowed in this particular studio today. Because if you are sick, you can keep it to yourself. I don't want it. So you're coming to an end, aren't you?
It's really sad, actually. This is our last week and our last day, in fact. So, yeah, it's a bittersweet moment.
Oh, thank you so much for coming in.
Thank you for having me.
No, coming in, let's get to it then, because we're two old veterans, miserable old people out there waiting, curmudgeonly, horrible people to come in here. Let's get to it. So what's the first story you got for us today?
Sure. So earlier this month, London 360 ventured into High Barnet to talk to members of a bipolar self-help group. They ran a one-day stall at the Spire shopping centre there, and the whole point of the stall was to raise awareness of mental health, especially bipolar, and they offered members of the public advice, support, and finding ways to approach people who suffer from that disorder. We spoke with the founder of the support group, Jonathan Ashby, and he talked about the views about stigma that surrounds bipolar and how society has moved on with time. So let's hear what he has to say.
There are people who will say you have to fight stigma. This is not true. What you have to do is stand up and be candid. If the public at large can see that people with mental health conditions can lead perfectly ordinary, normal lives and do ordinary things like meet other members of the public and talk about the conditions, then a lot of stigma is removed. I also think it's important to acknowledge that stigma today is nowhere near as bad as it was 10 years ago.
Yeah, it's one of those things, isn't it? And I often ask people this question: if you had a mental health issue, would you tell any prospective employer? Would you tell lots of people? And although I think he's probably right, things are an awful lot better than they used to be.
Yeah,
it certainly isn't the sort of thing that unless you are incredibly successful, like Catherine Zeta-Jones, or there are people in the public eye who have had Stephen Fry, who have had mental health issues. It is quite a big thing to say to other people, isn't it?
I personally wouldn't tell a prospective employer. I mean, I just think you're putting yourself out there to be judged, and I get that with society we become far more accepting, but I think the stigma is still there, if I'm honest.
Hell,
and
yes.
I personally wouldn't.
No, I don't think you're wrong on that. I think lots of people would agree with you. Your next story is on male depression.
Yeah, it's very sad times.
Yeah. This is. You do know that we're approaching Christmas, right?
Yeah, I know, but these are issues that affect us all year round. So I thought I'd just bring it to the forefront, really. So last week we went down to a music event which was supported by the organisation Calm. It's an organisation that stands for Campaign Against Living Miserably, and they deal with issues surrounding depression amongst men and those who have self-harmed before. And I don't know if you know this, but 3/4 of London's suicides are actually committed by men. And the charity works so hard to bring this to the forefront and bring awareness around it. So we spoke to one of their volunteers, Johnny, who says that it's still hard for men to open up about their emotions, basically.
I suppose it's just a hangover from the old days where it's like, you've got to be cool, you've got to be hard, you've got to be a soccer jock. And I think me and the band are the first generation that it's actually okay to cry. It's actually okay to say that you can't cope. It's actually okay to do stuff. Whereas when I'm thinking about my older brother, 10 years older than me, there's no way he could have said anything to his friends. And I think it's going to get better, but it's going to be a while. It really is going to be a while.
Yeah, I mean, I know there's different stories, but they are in a way within the same kind of spectrum, aren't they? Here, there is a problem, but us
But
guys.
this is different though, because it's about depression.
Yeah, but I know it's different, but it certainly will come under the spectrum of a kind of a mental health challenge, wouldn't it? And you know, as us, we don't go and talk about our problems, guys. Don't you know?
Well, you should open up. I mean, why not?
Yeah, I don't know. I'm not saying it's right.
Yeah.
I'm just telling you that, you know, guys are different. Guys are guys and ladies are ladies. And, you know, I appreciate, you know, the numbers of suicides.
It's 2012. You got to open up a bit more.
What? I'm not feeling so confident about. Oh no! You see, even at the beginning, it's just like. I mean, if there was a way to do it, if there were ways that groups of guys could get together and kind of talk about shared interests, problems, challenges, and things, it would be fantastic. But it is really, really difficult.
But that's the whole point. The fact that men don't open up, they're more likely and more certain to actually go ahead and take their own lives than any other gender, really. Like, females won't do it. They'll question about it and talk with their friends, but men will actually go and commit suicide.
Yeah, I accept that men commit suicide, but we also kill other people probably more than we also kill other people more than women do.
That.
No, well, we do. Probably more than women do as well. So it's just us guys. We're just, you know, we have issues, as they say. What else have you got? What's your last one for us?
Yeah, this is quite fun and quite warming. We've got two working mums in London that came up with this amazing idea to release a kids' music pop album called Zemi Music, and the lyrics are suitable for children of a primary school age, and they cover bullying, friendship and summer holidays. And the parents, Fiona and Barbara, they just felt that the music industry wasn't really catering to this specific demographic. I'll let you have a listen. Just go in.
Nothing around music-wise for children of sort of preschool and primary school age, and you know, with film and TV, there's suitable material for children at every stage. But with music, we felt that there wasn't.
I think, you know, when you know, kids have their own TV programs, don't they? They have CBBC or CBeebies or whatever, and then they move on. And as they get older, they go through different stages of what they watch on TV. But with music, you've got, you know, the tweenies and the Wiggles, and then you've got mainstream pop, and there's nothing in between that kind of is relevant for them, that actually, you know, has lyrics and content and things that they can identify with, and that they can kind of go, well, that might be me actually, or that's something, you know, I look forward to the summer holidays, or I sometimes feel lost at school, or whatever. So I think it was, for us, our motivation was really just trying to fill the gap almost, and just have something that sat alongside mainstream pop music, but that spoke to kids.
So what have you got over there?
Well, I was thinking about this, you know, when I was younger, I would be sort of like a parrot and sing songs, and I wouldn't really know what the lyrics were and what they meant. Like, for example, Spice Girls 2 Become One, you know, they do, you know, impose some sort of sexual, you know, interpretation, like boys and girls feel good together, are you as good as I remember, get it on, get it on. And I'm thinking, as a child, I would sing that casually, but it has a deeper meaning, whilst this album talks about things that are relevant to children of that age, and it's something to think about.
Yeah, it's something that parents need to think about a lot, because, you know, I remember a long time ago there was a record, you know, I wanna sex you up.
Yeah, it's a classic.
And all the kids were singing that, and you think,
Well, look at Rihanna these days.
Oh goodness, she's we talk about her, she's just the most talked about. I think there's a big publicity machine, isn't there, behind her. She spent a long time on the underground in London, spending money and getting people into lots of trouble. I wish her the best for 2030. Maybe next week we'll have to make predictions on this show about who the big stars will be and who will come crashing down. What have you got? I know, but you know, it's the way of the world, isn't it? And not everybody can stay up forever. What have you got lined up after London 360?
I think I'll still be back at London 360 doing some more work, but I'm currently going to be working at LBC and helping out. Yeah.
Is she allowed to mention that on here? You need to get out. You need to leave it.
Sorry.
That's very funny. Well, listen, wherever you go, hopefully you start at the bottom and work your way up. We wish you the very, very best of luck, Valentina.